Hi, I'm Zone, and I'll be going over some of the old designs of discount doodles before the ones we settled on, which would be these versions over here. So for Zone, we uh we got rid of the little stringy things because I didn't really feel like it screamed Zone. We also made the top parts of the head a bit more curvy because it was easy to draw. And also because this would later be repurposed for Doppel, which is the canonical old version of Zone. Speaking of Doppel, originally this guy wasn't gonna have the cracks from High School Hysterics, but we decided that it was part of his design now because it was kind of unique and it isn't that hard to draw compared to most other character traits. For Anon, his little ink blob thing, we didn't really know how to work it into the story, so we just said it came when the ink protocol started. And the ink blood here is also very weak looking. It's kind of like a sludge instead of a spike. So in the new version, it's a bit sharper. Spherica, in this version, we didn't really have idea of where to take Spherica. So he's just kind of just doing this old generic pose. When we got to redrawing Spherica and like remodeling him, we made his colors contrast a bit with each other to give him a bit more visibility. I'd say visibility, but it's just to make it contrast better with the rest of the cast. We also made him do a little wink here to show that he's like egotistical and he cares too much about himself, even though he clearly doesn't deserve it. Visor is an interesting case as we have three different designs to go over. His old version, his new version, and his newest version. Let's start with the old one. At this point in time, the light minion wasn't really a concept yet, as we really only just considered it part of his ability to conjure light out of nothing. When we got to his redesign, we incorporated a light minion and changed the jacket to make it less similar to the zones. I really like the little handle thing here. I think it makes it stand out compared to this old double string thing. We also made his legs a little darker. And we also made the light minion more apparent because it's going to be a major plot point in Ink Protocol. It's also going to be a major plot point how he plays in the Ink Protocol as well. And I held a poll about the recent Roblox controversy, saying if I should keep this real Roblox thing on Visor's visor. And a fan said yes, we should remove it, and this is what he looks like now. I also took the opportunity to make the visor look more like a visor instead of just a giant hat. When I first made this change, I thought this looked really bad, but looking at it more, I think it suits visor. In some instances, you can also see the visor being slightly translucent, but that got annoying fast, so I stopped doing it lately. You can also see the minion has some weird floaty things going on compared to the old version, so you can really see the quality difference here. For Dummy, we didn't really have a plan for this guy back then. Originally, this was just going to be the average Zones Games player, mostly Recraft Wars, seeing discount doodles for the first time. But as we were fleshing out Dummy's character, writing the scripts, writing his dialogue, the voice actor for Dummy, Get Real, has kind of shaped Dummy's personality into one of his own, which good for him. I'm glad he has some part in playing the character he's voice acting. And now he's a silly little guy who tries rage baiting everyone. It's definitely worse. It's rage baiting me already just looking at this post. How does he have his? Where's this knee? Like Solon Azul. I really like the concept for this one. It was mostly inspired by Razzle and Dazzle from Dandy's World, if that wasn't obvious enough. But I did overhear Quell saying that she didn't want to add the ability switching thing, so I incorporated that for Solo and Azul. For the redesign, I didn't really change much. I just I just made Soul and Azul's legs darker to contrast better with his torso, and I also added a double string to his ribbon to make it more obvious that it's a ribbon and not just like a scarf or something. I really like the concept of Soul and Azul. For Tears, like again, we didn't really have a clear concept for this kind of character. He was kind of just there. He originally he was gonna be like a dream sort of thing, because that was his original concept. But moving forward, I didn't really want that. I still kind of kept the dream aspect, but at the point of drawing this, he was in a really big state of controversy. So just figured that I would shift some things, move some things around here and there. I made the mask a bit smaller, proportional to his head. I made the mask a bit bigger, proportional to the rest of his head. And behind this mask would actually be a giant screen that shows what his current stream sees. And I think that's so it's kind of like a lens cap. I think it's a really cool thing to have for a streamer character like this. Unova was originally going to be called USO. It stands for Unidentified Sliding Object, but that's her dead name. It's not really it's associated with the kind of person that we don't really want associated with this Doodles. So I changed it, and now her name's Unova. Originally, her UFO was going to be like a little skateboard thing, but it was changed to be its own separate entity. Same thing applies to Jinsoke Heroes as well, which is actually a collab character, but that's a different thing. High School Hysterics. For Sophia, the singular builder of the old Doodle models asked me to like make some depth in the hair to make it easier to model, but since that builder is dead now, I decided, well, I'm sure it doesn't matter anymore, and just remove the little hair depth thing. I put my trust in the builders to figure that out. As for the other technicalities, her bow got a bit smaller, the other one as well, and she also got like a little. I can't tell if she got a little less pale. I don't think it matters all that much though. Annika. I don't really like this drawing of Annika in particular because she has this stupid thing on her leg. She also has that weird thing on her. There's a lot of things wrong with this render. You can tell already. So for Annika's redesign, I added an outline to the heart. As with all other High School Hysterics characters, I removed the depth in her hair, and I gave her eyelashes that match her hair. Unfortunately, I did also remove the color phasing when it came to the pigtail, the little puffy hair things, because it would have been a pain to draw over and over again, and I plan on animating these guys. So other than those very specific changes, though, I don't think I made any other changes to Annika other than the fact her hair size was just generally been reduced because it would have been hard to fit all of that on a canvas. Spectra. Originally, this was just gonna be like a different phase of Grace, which I'll get to later, but I wasn't really sure how to work with that from a gameplay and story-based sense, since they do share different names and character development. So I just redesigned her. She has a different hairstyle, a different not that different clothing, but different enough to where you can like notice it. She also has predefined eyelashes, and worst of all, she has boobs. She has cleavage. Whoa. Okay. For Grace, when I first designed Grace, I was thinking of like the Friday Night Funkin' girlfriend, but after a while, this design looked too adult for my senses, and this is also where I couldn't draw boobs for the first time. This is really, really old. The hairstyle also just kind of sucked. It looked like it looked like a Minecraft character, so I decided to change it. Hairstyle was completely reworked. I just trimmed her hair and moved some of that to the side. I think it makes a really nice silhouette. I also changed her little dress thing to be more of a like an oversized shirt. It makes her look more childish as a result, but I think it completes the look. I also forgone her having arm warmers again to give her middle sleeves. Sleeves that go up to like half of her, like the first half of her arm. That's what that's supposed to be. I also gave her the flower symbol because originally she had no resemblance to flowers whatsoever, even though that was part of her lore, I'm pretty sure. In her redesign, I also gave her shoes and leg warmers because I thought they'd just add a little character and make her a little more cozy to hang out with. It'll also explain her popularity and lore. For Emily, this is not much has changed in regards to Emily, but I did redesign her a lot because I thought her design was lacking. She gained a new robot arm, and her jacket is more unique to make it different from the zones and visor back then. I also gave her Dandy's World themed pants because she seems like the kind of person who would unironically be a public fan of Dandy's World. Her eye thing is still there though, so yeah, her eye was always metallic like that, but she just has less hair to hide it now. For Reticle, originally this was just gonna be a redesign of Emily, but I wanted to stray further for this kind of thing because I know how much it hurts to have something you'd like get removed or scrapped or things like that. So I just gave her a more neat hairstyle. So she doesn't blush anymore, and it makes it less obvious that she's a robot, but I figured the eyelash not matching with her hair is enough. It's enough evidence of that. She also has more streaks in her shirt, and the then her robot skin isn't showing in the neck part anymore. I also removed her shoes. Anyways, for Jessie, this was a really late addition to the old design cast because not you can see not much has changed from the new to the old. I did have to remove a lot of this top hair though because it made it look too similar to Zephyr, who we will get to later. It was also just a pain in my hiney viney to get done consistently, so I made Jessie have a lot less top hair and a lot less of these frizzes as well. The jacket was also throwing me off the first time I drew this, so I made it cover a little less of his body. I also gave him thick thighs because he's like insecure about himself. I also made his pants purple. And he's one of two males in an all-girls school. What did you expect? For Lilibet, I actually had a lot of fun. This was the first Pinky that I've designed. I really like how it turned out. She looks so cute, but the first time I drew this, I drew the philosophy that only the old girl students can have eyelashes, but clearly that wasn't the case with the redesign. I generally just made her taller to be more on par with the rest of the cast, and I gave her eyelashes because she didn't have those before. I also made an interesting decision to give her the little incision in the back of her hair because I thought that would just be really cool, and I think it would be an interesting contrast to her sister Rosemary. Yeah, I'm great at transitions, I know. Originally, her base design was gonna be the school outfit for Branch Ivy High School. I didn't really like this. I thought it would be a cool and interesting way to differentiate her from Lilibet, but this just looks ugly. And it wouldn't really fit her. It wouldn't really describe her as the sister of Lilibet. So I designed an alternate version with her regular clothes back then, which were kind of very similar to Lilibet, except that her front of the hair now moves to the side and to the back rather than just down and to the side. I think that her hair is also just shorter in general, and the shape is very different. It doesn't curve inwards anymore. She also doesn't have eye bags, and and this one also doesn't have eyelashes. I just noticed. So when we got to the redesign, I gave it the little incisions I mentioned earlier, and I gave her some safety shorts as well because this design of Lilibet's short. This design of Lilibet's shirt, this design of Rosemary's shirt is shorter than Lilibet's version, as we can see with the shorter sleeves. I also took the liberty of giving her eyelashes in the same fashion as Lilibet because I was doing that with all the other high school Hysterics characters at the time. For Vale, I didn't like how her hairline was just all the way up there. It really threw me off when making new frames with her likeness, which is why she lasted like, I think 2 seconds during high school Hysterics. So I decided to change it. I think she looks much more like a defined character now instead of a Karen. I also took the liberty of giving her boobs. I also made the colors blend with each other a bit softer because it just made it look more pleasing. It was also part of the reason why I didn't like this design of Vale at first. I also gave her a different iris to make it a bit more unique. For Izumi, I already really like this design. It's accurate, it's cool, it's unique, but she doesn't have eyelashes due to the aforementioned only old women can have eyelashes thing. She also had those puffy sleeves, which were kind of a pain in the ass to draw. So I fixed both of those issues by giving her eyelashes, decreasing her hair size, and making those puffy sleeves no longer puffy. Sure that it took out some of the cutest factor, but it was also just kind of inconsistent. I mean, look at this. Her arm is suffocating in there. Look at this. For Vani, fun fact, I did not come up with this character design. This was made by some Kirby Land guy that I don't remember the name of, like a decade ago. So I hope wherever they are, they're doing fine now. But Avani, something about this design was just kind of difficult to design. It was like the bottom part, the way the hair changed colors midway through. I did the same thing with Izumi, but it's okay because it's lighter. And so I fixed a couple of things for redesign. One, I fixed her hair. It's now more obvious that it's a ponytail and not just a blade. I also made her eyelashes match her hair, and I also made her hair one single color to avoid making it such a pain in the ass to draw in the future. I also made her little sleeve things lavender instead of pure white so it meshes better. I also gave her pants pockets to make it more obvious that she's not actually from this universe. The butterfly remained as is. I just gave it little dots to make it to mesh well with the modern art style of Discount Doodles. For Pixie, I already really liked this design of Pixie, but the wings and the fact she doesn't have eyelashes. Originally her hairline was like all the way up here, and I really threw me off, so I put it all the way back down here. I don't have an image of that, but so you'll just have to take my word for it. But she was also gonna have these like white ribbons on her shoes as well, but that was very scrapped because I didn't know how to draw those in. For a redesign, I didn't change much. I just made her bow smaller, made her a little paler because this is just ugly. I also gave her wings a defined shape. I also made her. I also. I also removed the puffy sleeves, as mentioned earlier, because they were still a pain in the ass to draw back then. I also decreased the size of her skirt a little. For Zephyr is actually a more recent addition to the Discount Doodles cast, which is why you never saw him in High School Hysterics. For Zephyr, I didn't really want to change much because this design was already good looking, so I just gave him some bandages on his arms to show more that he's like a prisoner. Though these are supposed to be bandages anyways, they look more like arm warmers. For Hyakin, this was originally supposed to be a joke character that intentionally looked bad and ugly, but I decided I already have a character like that. It's called Spherica. So in the remodel, I decided to change her to be like a royal figure with actual irises. I made her eyes a bit darker to show that she's like a villain to Pixie. And I also made her hair actually connect to her scalp rather than through the back of her hair. Like, how'd you even tie this? I also made her shorts a bit like longer, so you can't really call them shorts anymore. It like goes down to her knees now. It's like back then it like, yeah, I made it like a bit longer. The scarf is also darker and has a more defined shape. You see it had like the indent. I think that gives it more shape and a good silhouette as well. And you will see these ones later when I actually release the Animal Kingdom. But for now, Lexin. Originally, this was gonna be designed for Lexin. I didn't really like. I thought I was kind of uncomfortable adding nipples to one of my characters and a belly button. So, in the next iteration, I removed that because these are not supposed to be humans. They're doodles, just doodles. And I also made the hairpiece. Also give the hairpiece a bit more of a distinctive silhouette to further identify that this is Lexin and not some random baby. In the final version, I gave the diaper some color and I made the hairpiece a bit thicker to give it more flexibility when animating. He still has the Anon eyes at the end of the day, but back then he had the modern Discount Doodles eyes. But now he has the Anon eyes, which started from the second iteration, so hooray, he downgraded. Shroomy. This was going to be the first version of Shroomy. This was actually not made for Discount Doodles. This was actually art for another character, for Woodbrawl Redux. This is an old version of Shroomy Trem, scrapped class from Woodbrawl Redux, like a very old version of it. She was originally going to use a swordfish, I think it's a narwhal, to use a narwhal, I think, to attack her enemies. She also had horns. But in the second version, I decided to give her a red, whatever this is, a shading, a half tint, a fade-in, yeah, fade-in. Decided to give her a red, like a harsh red fade-in for these kind of things. And I also gave her a little bit of human skin because I was going along the direction this was actually a human being instead of just a pure mushroom. I also gave her the white sleeves under the shirt because that was present in the original design, the one before this one, the one that Trem sent me. For the pockets, I didn't really like the colors and the fact that she had no shoes, so I fixed both of those issues there. I also removed the horns because they were redundant. For the final version, I reverted back to just white skin because I thought it looked better. I did keep the maroon hair, but I didn't keep the hue because it was just gonna be pain in the ass to draw again and again and again. I also gave her clothes a more desaturated look to fit better with the modern art discount Doodles art style. Which included the gloves and the mushroom cap was already kind of desaturated, so I didn't really change much there. I also made the pocket a solid outline instead of a light blue outline. For cheese, this was also not designed for discount Doodles. But it wasn't designed for Football Redux either. This was a commission, I think. For the actual first iteration of cheese, I decided to give him a little jacket thing, because that's what was also on his Sona. He only had straight line zips back, jacket strips back then, and we didn't really have the idea of making him sentient cheese until way later. Then when his third redesign came, we made his blue a bit more darker to make it more distinctive. I also made his little jacket things have a distinctive shape to not confuse them with the zones or visor back then. The original creator's way of designing jackets was really interesting to me, so I decided to take inspiration from that as well. I also gave him the white things at the end of his sleeves as well. For glitter, these two designs were originally gonna make Glitter a male, but Glitter, I was told that Glitter didn't really like how these turned out, so I redesigned it to look more like her modern counterpart. I don't really feel like comparing these two because it's very obvious this is a completely different person, but essentially, man, woman. Callie also received very major changes, but it was only on her first iteration because it made her look like a male back then. This was the design used for Originaut. So is this one. These two were the designs used for Originaut, which is very old now. But then when we got to the first redesign, I made her have longer hair and a more darker color palette. I also made her kind of chubby here, and I made her pants like super dark. Made her jacket also kind of saturated here. When I got to the third revision, I had to go back to the first pose because I think it looked way better than whatever the hell was going on here. I don't know. I don't remember why the eyebrows were colored like this. It just looked ugly at the end, so I reverted back to the basic black that went with the regular eyes as well. Unfortunately, I did have to switch her eyelashes to the hair color, since that was a staple for most girl characters in this era of discount Doodles anyways. The colors for the hat I really liked, but the colors for the jacket, not so much. So I decided to implement these onto there and make it a similar coloring schema to the zones, or more specifically zone, because as you can see, this, that, this, that, this, that. Well, usually this, that, but in this specific case, that's not the case. So I did this, that, this, that, this, that. I think it's a really neat way to connect the two characters. For Everin, this is a scrapped character, and this is the only time you'll be able to see him. Originally, this was gonna be a female, but for some reason he didn't have eyelashes despite working a job, so he's clearly over the age of whatever defined age I put back then. But I feel like I just wasn't making a decision back then whether he was male or female. I just decided to go a bit of both, give him boobs, but no eyelashes for some reason. In the redesign, I made his work outfit a little bit more clear. I also I removed a lot of the outlines here for some reason. I don't remember why I did it. I think it was to make the M a bit more clear. But this was his new work outfit. It has little buttons on the side of it. It's more representative of a McDonald's work outfit. I think it was supposed to be a cashier at some point. Yeah, this was supposed to be depicting a cashier. In the final revision, I decided to just ditch the work outfit altogether because that wasn't going to be his main outfit for the entire franchise. This is his at-home outfit where he makes dolls, or more specifically figurines, in reference to his builder position, or rather his old builder position for Jinsokyo Heroes. This reminder that this is a scrapped character, so you will not see him in the game. Okay, this is Latex. She didn't really have much going on here in the first iteration, as is most other characters. It's just a proof of concept. In the first redesign, the bridge between the outline on the top of her facial mark has been removed. She also apparently didn't have eyelashes in this version either. And her tail is also apparently missing because I think it was just too hard for me to draw back then. Aside from that, though, not a lot of other things got changed, aside from her hair being a bit longer, reaching down to her butt. Whereas back then, it only reached to, like, the top of her butt. In the last redesign, I added back her eyelashes and made her tail a more defined shape with added details and stuff, because I figured out how to draw it back then. I also made her little arm things way longer, because, well, the way I drew it back then made it seem like it wasn't that long back then, but it was definitely that long back then. I also took the liberty. But as a result, I had to remove the facial crest because it was just too difficult to draw. I'm sorry. And to compensate for this, I added the addition of big boobs to further alleviate from the fact that I removed most of her essential details, like the facial thing and her. I actually don't know what else I removed. I also gave her thick thighs. Further incentivize, this is a star. She's very captivating. Exio. Exio is originally written out to just be this generic evil guy with no remorse for anyone he's working with. His tail was also originally going to be a claw, but that was scrapped really early on because I didn't want to do all that. Then when he was redesigned for the first time, we gave him actual ears and a hair tuft and a nose and specialized iris to make him a guest character. I also gave him gloves to replace the claws because they looked kind of like ugly, and I made his jacket a more darker tone to contrast the lighter tone on the inside. I also made his pants gray because blue pants just wasn't doing it for me at the time. Then in the third revision, his ears got changed back to a single color because they were easier to animate. His hair tuft is still there, but it's like not overlapping with itself anymore. His nose got removed, unfortunately, as well as his special irises, to make things less annoying on my end. But but his jacket colors did get more desaturated for ease of access, and the middle part of his jacket has been made a solid black. And the blue here has been shifted to the pants, which is now also desaturated. And his tail is back. I bet you didn't notice that, huh? This tail was actually designed to be more like a dog tail than a wolf tail, but, you know, bygones shall be bygones. Five-star. This version of Five-star's profile was made on the original, like, what was it called? The original preposition for Discount Doodles. This version of Five-star was just gonna be, it's just, was directly based on the Roblox avatar this guy was based on, who is a popular Roblox developer of whom I will not name. I think he hates me or something. Anyways. Originally, his chicken head was gonna be white, but in the new one, it's yellow. And originally, the beak was gonna be open, and the beak was gonna cover his entire head, but in the newest version, just the top beak is present. a lot of things are different with this one. For one, he doesn't have like he doesn't have jaundice anymore. He's been cured. His star shape has also been replaced with a chicken sign to further differentiate this from the source material. Unfortunately, we had to get rid of his shoes for ease of animating, but to compensate for this, we did extend his sleeves a little bit and make it not as awkward to look at anymore. We also gave him a rubber chicken. That's so cute. A clam. Clam didn't have a first edition design, so this is the best you're gonna get. Because originally Clam's design was just gonna be tears but painted black and had an evil expression. So this is Clam. I really like the design that Clam had went with here, but in the redesign I did fix some things that I thought were gonna be annoying to animate, such as the square jacket sleeves over here, because too many characters already had that, like Vani, etc. And I also decided to make a unique design element by giving him square jacket neck things over here, and a square jacket pocket as well. And I think that's all the doodles. I'm not going over the animal kingdoms, but yeah, this was my video discussing the old and new discount doodles designs. I will see you guys when Ink Protocol releases, and if I don't post a video in the next year or two, spam my DMs in the server. Okay, bye.